If I help you become successful, I hope you won't betray me.
Yes, I promise to be loyal to you forever.
Daniel's hands trembled as he stood before the floor-to-ceiling windows of his penthouse office in Maitama, watching the city lights of Abuja flicker like stars beneath him. He remembered when those same streets were his mattress, when hunger wasn't a feeling but a constant companion, when Harmattan nights threatened to steal his life before he even had a chance to live it. 20 years ago, he was that skinny kid in Mpape, diving into restaurant dumpsters with his best friend Marcus, both of them dreaming impossible dreams between bites of day-old akara. One day, Danny, Marcus used to say, his voice full of certainty, we're gonna own the city, not be owned by it. And Daniel had believed him. More than that, he'd worked toward it with a ferocity that terrified everyone who knew him. While other kids played football in dusty with streets, Daniel studied under dim Nipa streetlights. While others hung around beer parlors, he worked 3 jobs and taught himself coding, business, finance, anything that could be his ladder out of hell. His mother's death from treatable malaria because they couldn't afford proper hospital treatment had carved something permanent into his soul, a promise that poverty would never touch him again. And it hadn't. By 35, Daniel had built Titan Tech Solutions from a cracked laptop in a cybercafé in Area 11 into a billion-dollar empire. His AI-driven logistics platform revolutionized supply chain management across West Africa and beyond. Forbes called him the Phoenix of Abuja, but success tasted hollow when celebrated alone. So Daniel did what his heart told him was right. He went back for his brothers. Marcus became Chief Operating Officer. Jerome, who used to hustle phone accessories with them at Baynex Plaza, became Head of Business Development. Khalil, the funny one who kept them laughing through dark times, ran marketing. Daniel didn't just give them jobs, he gave them stake, power, respect. He bought Marcus a house in Asakaro, sent Jerome's kids to American International School, paid for Khalil's mother's diabetes treatment. This is our empire, he told them at a champagne-soaked celebration at Transcorp Hilton, tears streaming down his face. We built this together. We survived together. But that night, as everyone laughed and toasted, Daniel missed the shadow that flickered across Marcus's face, a darkness that money had awakened, not satisfied. The betrayal began quietly, like cancer. Marcus started arriving late to meetings, his responses clipped and cold. You good, bro? Daniel asked one afternoon, concern genuine in his voice. Marcus smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Yeah, man. Just tired of being your second in command, you know? Your shadow. Daniel laughed, thinking it was a joke. It wasn't. What Daniel didn't know was that Marcus had been meeting secretly with Chief Victor Okonkwo, Titan Tech's biggest competitor, feeding him confidential information about upcoming contracts, proprietary algorithms, and strategic plans at discrete locations in Jabi. The whispers started small, rumors of financial irregularities at Titan Tech, questions about Daniel's ethics, anonymous tips to EFCC and regulatory agencies. When the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission launched an investigation into alleged money laundering and contract fraud, Daniel was blindsided. This is insane, he told his lawyer, pacing his office like a caged lion. I've never touched dirty money. Never. But the evidence was damning. Falsified documents with his digital signature, domiciliary accounts traced to his BVN, emails he never sent discussing illegal transactions with government officials. Someone had meticulously framed him, and they knew exactly how to do it because they had access to everything. The board called an emergency meeting. Investors panicked. Partners distanced themselves. Within weeks, Daniel was suspended from his own company pending investigation. The media crucified him. Billionaire fraud, the Punch headline screamed. From rags to riches to ruin, Channel's TV reported. His phone stopped ringing. Friends he'd helped, people whose children's school fees he'd paid, whose businesses he'd funded, they all vanished like smoke. Except Marcus. Marcus stayed close, his face a mask of concern. I got you, bro, Marcus said, gripping Daniel's shoulder at a particularly low moment in a dimly lit bar in Garki. We gonna fight this together. Daniel, desperate and broken, believed him. He gave Marcus power of attorney to handle business affairs while he fought legal battles. That was his final mistake. Marcus consolidated power, pushed out loyal executives, and orchestrated a board vote that stripped Daniel of his CEO position entirely. When Daniel finally understood what was happening, Marcus didn't hide anymore. They met one last time in the office that used to be Daniel's. Why? Daniel's voice was barely a whisper, his world collapsing. Marcus leaned back in Daniel's chair, his chair now, and said something that would haunt Daniel forever, because I was tired of being the guy who ate scraps from your table. You wanted to save us. You made us into your charity cases, your proof of concept. I built my own kingdom, Danny. I just used your resources to do it. The truth surfaced over the following months. Jerome and Khalil had been complicit, paid handsomely for their silence and cooperation. The family he'd built had sold him for pieces of silver. Rock Bottom has a basement, and Daniel found it. Broke, defamed, legally entangled, and betrayed by the only family he'd ever known, he moved into a single room in Kubwa, not far from where he'd started. Some nights, he stood outside his door watching Okada riders pass and wondered if the pain would ever stop. But his mother's voice echoed in those dark moments. Pain is temporary, baby. Quitting is permanent. So he didn't quit. He rebuilt, but differently this time. Daniel hired a forensic accountant named Amina Ibrahim, a brilliant woman from Kano with a reputation for uncovering truth others missed. If you're innocent, she said during their first meeting at a small cafe and was two, I'll prove it. If you're guilty, don't waste my time. He wasn't guilty, and Amina proved it methodically, brilliantly. Digital forensics revealed the manipulation. Timestamps that didn't match, IP addresses traced to Marcus's devices, metadata that exposed the elaborate fraud. Simultaneously, Daniel reached out to contacts Marcus didn't know about, genuine relationships built on mutual respect, not obligation. A journalist named Chidinma Okafor at Daily Trust had covered his rise with fairness. When Daniel presented her with evidence at her office in Central Business District, she didn't hesitate. Her exposé, the betrayal of Titan Tech, how a billionaire's friends destroyed him, went viral across Nigerian social media. Federal investigators reopened the case with new evidence. Security footage from Titan Tech showed Marcus accessing Daniel's office at odd hours, using administrative codes to manipulate financial records. Jerome's communications with Chief Okonkwo were recovered from encrypted WhatsApp chats, detailing the entire conspiracy. Khalil, under pressure during interrogation at EFCC headquarters, broke first. His testimony detailed everything. How Marcus had recruited them with promises of wealth beyond what Daniel offered, how they'd planned for 18 months over bottles of Hennessy at expensive lounges in Abuja, how Marcus had convinced them that Daniel considered them inferior, charity projects rather than partners. It was all lies, but effective ones. The legal machinery ground slowly but thoroughly. Marcus, Jerome, and Khalil were arrested on charges of fraud, conspiracy, and embezzlement. Chief Okonkwo's company faced massive litigation. The board, horrified and embarrassed, begged Daniel to return. But something in Daniel had fundamentally changed. The trust that once defined him had been surgically removed, replaced with something harder, colder, wiser. 18 months after his fall, Daniel stood again before those floor-to-ceiling windows in Maitama, but everything was different. Titan Tech was his again, rebuilt with new leadership. People vetted not just for competence, but for character, people with no childhood connection to leverage, no false sense of owed loyalty. He'd learned that real trust isn't given freely. It's earned through consistent action over time, and even then, it requires boundaries. His new COO was a woman named Dr. Ngozi Adelik, a Harvard MBA with 15 years of experience and zero personal connection to Daniel. I don't need you to like me, she said during her interview. I need you to trust my work, my ethics, and my results. Personal friendship in business is a liability. She was right. The company thrived, ironically, more successfully than before. Without the distraction of managing friendships disguised as business relationships, without the blind spots that love creates, Daniel made sharper decisions. He implemented transparency protocols, third-party audits, and checks and balances systems that made betrayal nearly impossible. But the victory felt hollow. Late one evening, as Daniel reviewed quarterly reports showing record profits, his assistant buzzed. Sir, there's someone here to see you. Says it's personal. Name is Marcus. Daniel's blood ran cold. Marcus had been released after serving 14 months at Kyuj prison. a light sentence due to cooperation in plea bargaining. For a long moment, Daniel considered refusing. But curiosity, or maybe the ghost of their friendship, made him agree. Marcus looked different, thinner, grayer, eyes haunted by consequences. He stood awkwardly in the doorway of the office he'd once stolen, wearing a simple shirt instead of the designer Abuja he used to favor. "I don't expect forgiveness," Marcus began, his voice stripped of its former confidence. "I came to tell you I was wrong. Not just about the betrayal, I was wrong about everything. You weren't trying to make us charity cases. You were trying to share success with the people you loved. I was so consumed by envy, by ego, by the stupid idea that being second to you was humiliation, that I destroyed everything. I destroyed us." Daniel listened silently, his face unreadable. Marcus continued, tears now streaming freely. "I lost everything too, you know. My family relocated back to the village. My wife divorced me. My children won't answer my calls. I'll never work in this industry again. But worse than all of that, I lost the one person who actually loved me enough to risk everything. I didn't just betray a billionaire, Danny. I betrayed my brother." The silence stretched, heavy with years of shared history and unbearable pain. Finally, Daniel spoke, his voice quiet but firm. "I forgive you, Marcus. Not because you deserve it, but because holding on to hatred would make me into something I don't want to be. But forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. We're not brothers anymore. We can't be. You taught me that trust broken at this level can't be repaired. It can only be released." Marcus nodded, understanding. "I know. I needed you to know I'm sorry. Truly." As Marcus turned to leave, Daniel added, "I hope you find peace, Marcus. Real peace. Not the kind that comes from revenge or comparison, but the kind that comes from being genuinely content with who you are." The door closed. Daniel was alone again, but this time, truly at peace. 3 years later, Daniel sat at a youth empowerment conference in Guagualada, sharing his story with a room full of young entrepreneurs from backgrounds similar to his. "Success will test you," he told them, his voice carrying the weight of hard-earned wisdom. "But betrayal will define you. When I was at my lowest, hustling in Abuja after losing everything, I had two choices, become bitter or become better. Bitterness would have been easier. It would have felt justified, but it also would have destroyed me just as thoroughly as Marcus's betrayal did." He paused, looking at the young faces hanging on his words. "Here's what I learned. Trust everyone at zero until they earn increments of trust through consistent behavior over time. Love people, absolutely, but implement systems that don't depend on love to function. Keep business and personal relationships separate. And most importantly, understand that not everyone who smiles with you is happy for you. Some people will celebrate your success to your face while plotting your downfall behind your back." A young woman in hijab raised her hand. "But Olga Daniel, doesn't that make you paranoid? Doesn't it make life lonely?" Daniel smiled sadly. "It makes you wise. And yes, sometimes wisdom is lonely. But you know what's lonelier? Betrayal. The loneliness of wisdom is a choice you make to protect yourself. The loneliness of betrayal is violence inflicted upon you. I choose the former." Titan Tech now had a foundation that provided mentorship, resources, and opportunities to young entrepreneurs from underserved communities across Abuja, Mpape, Kabwa, Lugby, Nyanya, but with a twist. Every recipient went through character assessments, integrity training, and gradual trust-building processes. Daniel didn't just give money, he taught discernment. His story became a case study in Lagos Business School, the trust paradox, how blind loyalty destroys what calculated trust builds. Marcus, Jerome, and Khalil live quiet lives now, their names synonymous with betrayal in their industry. They gained momentary power and lost permanent respect. Daniel had lost everything and gained wisdom worth more than his first billion. As the conference ended, attendees approached Daniel with questions, seeking advice, wanting to connect. He engaged each warmly, but maintained boundaries, cordial, helpful, but never crossing into the dangerous territory of unearned intimacy. Driving through Abuja streets in his Range Rover, passing through Garki, Wuz, and finally Maitama, Daniel reflected on his journey. The boy who'd survived on scraps and Mpape had become a man who'd survived something worse, betrayal by those he loved most. Both experiences had shaped him, but the latter had refined him into something unbreakable. Success without wisdom is fragile. Wisdom without success is merely philosophical. But success earned, lost, and reclaimed through wisdom, that's legacy. As he parked at his office building, Daniel understood his purpose wasn't just to build companies, it was to teach others the lessons he'd learned through blood and tears. Never put too much trust in friends. Not because people are inherently evil, but because unchecked trust creates opportunities for weakness to flourish. Trust should be strategic, earned, and always protected by systems that survive when personal relationships fail. His phone buzzed with a message from Dr. Adelik. Q4 projections exceeded expectations. Well done, team. He smiled. This was success, built not on the fragile foundation of childhood loyalty, but on the solid ground of mutual respect, clear boundaries, and earned trust. If this story resonated with you, if you've ever been betrayed by someone close or wondered how to balance trust with wisdom, I want to hear from you. Hit that like button if this story moved you. Subscribe to this channel because we're building a community that understands real talk about real life. Share this with friends who need to hear it, especially those climbing their own ladders who might be too trusting. And drop a comment telling me, what's the most important lesson you learned from Daniel's story? How do you balance trust and self-protection in your own life? Let's build wisdom together. Remember, trust wisely, love carefully, and never apologize for protecting your peace. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video for more interesting and captivating stories. See you on the next one.